Welcome to Middle Class Matters. Business News in English. Hindenburg Research Report on Adani Shares Part 7. Montessori is very close to the government and SEBI officials. The whole system is very much working hand in glove. SEBI knows about it. Former trader banned for Mauritius-based stock manipulation. Montessori Group, like many of the Mauritius shareholders, has gained a reputation in specialist circles as a friend for the Adani Group. Hindenburg spoke with a broker who has been banned from Indian markets for manipulating Indian stocks using Mauritius-based funds about Montessori. Our sources trust that Mauritius-based funds were a vehicle to cut the trails and conceal the identity of an investor bringing cash from overseas into the Indian market. He alleged, based on his own track record of dealing with regulators and being investigated by them, that SEBI is aware that conglomerates like the Adani Group are using Mauritius funds to float laws on maximum stock ownership and that SEBI participates in the schemes due to bribes. I won't say that SEBI put a blind eye. They know about it. They personally make their money from bribes and then they would like to ignore it. A blind eye is where you are definitely not touching and not disturbing it at all. So it is not the blind eye. The whole system is very much working hand in glove. People know about it. SEBI knows about it. He also said he had the personal knowledge of the Montessori operated funds. Montessori's funds have always been used as a platform, as a chainer platform to reach into India. And Montessori is very close to the government officials and SEBI officials. So those people are well versed with Indian systems now. Montessori's chairman and CEO served as director in 3 companies alongside a fugitive diamond merchant who allegedly stole $1 billion before fleeing India. Vinod Adani's daughter married the fugitive diamond merchant's son. Alastair Guhinbull even, Montessori's chairman and CEO, has significant past connections with a notorious Indian fugitive diamond merchant, Jatin Rajnikant Mehta, who is called as Mehta. Montessori's chairman and CEO resides in Switzerland and has promoted his strong ties to India, having been a pioneer investor in the Indian subcontinent since the 1990s, according to his CV. He has served as director of Montessori entities in India as far back as 2002. He has also previously served as a director on at least 3 separate Indian companies alongside Mehta, according to online company directories. Mehta stands accused of illegally siphoning $1 billion from various Indian banks through standby letters of credit, then fleeing the country to a tax haven with no extradition treaty, per media reports. According to local media, Mehta's son married Vinod Adani's daughter Krupa, indicating a close familial tie. Suraj, son of Jatin Mehta, and Krupa, daughter of Vinod Adani, a website celebrating the Meher dynasty in the state of Rajasthan. An Adani Group related party entity has used Montessori to invest in Adani companies, drawing a clear line between the Adani Group and the suspect offshore funds. In 2002, Adani Exports, later renamed Adani Enterprises, disclosed that an entity, Gudami International, Gudami was a related party, likely because it shared a director and key common shareholder with Adani Global. The Gudami director shareholder is a man named Chong Chung Ling, who has been described in a DRI criminal investigation as a director of multiple Adani entities. Chang Chung Ling, continues to have close links and connections to Adani Group, as we detail in part 2. Adani's annual reports shows that it invested $17 million in Lotus Global Investments, a Montessori entity, over a 2-year period, per Adani's 2007 annual report. 2. Investment in Lotus Global Investments Limited, a company incorporated in the Hong Kong of 103,433 units, 2006, 76,514 units. Unit price of US dollar 171.0934. 2006 unit price was US dollar 100 for a market value of US dollar 17,696,703.64. 2006 US dollar 8,350,737.96. Adani Financial Year 2007 Annual Report. Lotus Global holding in Adani Enterprises increased significantly during the period up to 4.51% at the end of December 2008. Lotus also went on to become a large shareholder in Adani Power by March 2011, disclosing a 1.64% stake. Early in our investigation, we reached out to executives and former Montessori staff to learn more about the shareholding pattern in Adani stock. We received an unsolicited message from a Zurich-based PR agency hired by Montessori. I am a PR agent in Switzerland for the Montessori Group. We learned that you are contacting former employees to gather information on the group. Despite his offer to answer our questions directly, he responded a week later in general terms. Thank you for your questions. Montessori only provides services to international investors in line with and in constant compliance with all regulatory requirements in various jurisdictions. Montessori does not disclose information to private investors. Prior to publication, we contacted 2 senior Montessori executives in Switzerland and Mauritius, asking to clarify the fund's significant, narrowly focused investment in Adani listed companies. So far, they have not responded. Stock Parking Entity 2, Elara Capital PLC. Elara Capital PLC operates various Mauritius-based funds. One fund almost exclusively invests in Adani, holding nearly US dollar 3 billion in shares, representing 99% of its holdings. London-based Elara Capital PLC, Elara, operates the Mauritius-based Indian Opportunities Fund and Vespara. As of December 2022, the Indian Opportunities Fund had a total market value of about INR 246.36 billion, equivalent to US dollar 3.04 billion, of which INR 243.35 billion, that is US dollar 3.01 billion, or 98.78%, was invested in 3 Adani stocks per Driventility data. Elara funds hold 3.62% of equity of Adani Transmission, 1.62% of Adani Total Gas, and 1.6% of Adani Enterprises per the most recent data. Previously, Vespara Fund, another fund managed by Elara, held significant stakes in Adani stocks, including a 1.04% stake in Adani Enterprises at the end of June 2022, representing over 93.9% of its assets at the time. Vespara's shareholding has since dipped below the 1% equity reporting threshold. Thus, the extent of its shareholdings in Adani stocks is currently unknown. It is unclear exactly when Elara first began acquiring Adani stock, but the Elara India Opportunities Fund first disclosed holding over 1% in Adani Enterprises in June 2012 per BSE records. It is staring in your face, but does somebody have the courage or the balls to really put it out there? Former Elara employees told us Adani and promoters definitely have money in these funds. Banking secrecy in Mauritius, like many opaque offshore jurisdictions, makes it difficult to establish the ultimate beneficial owners of the funds. But the answer seems to be an open secret among those employees of the Adani stock parking entities who were willing to talk to us on a strictly confidential basis. We asked a former Elara trader whether they thought outsiders would never ever be able to acquire hard documentary evidence that Adani family members and group promoters owned Elara. And another stock parking entity that we discussed above, Montessora Investment Holdings, they were adamant, never ever. That is the whole beauty of the structure. They described transactions routed through offshore funds in Mauritius as a Chinese wall, intended to conceal the identity of the beneficial owners. They said that the Indian Regulatory Statutory Authority, SEBI, knew the reality but had other priorities. The regulator knows everything. Actually, to be very frank, the SEBI knows each and every dirt in the bag. But the point is that who wants to clean it? That is the main point. It is like nobody wants to make their hand messy. The former traders said it was obvious Elara's Indian opportunities and Vespera funds belong to the Adani groups, citing the ownership concentration. The answer to your question lies on like a fund. For example, Elara India opportunities funds. What are its concentrated holdings? So what are its top 10 value of holdings? So you would come to know who controls this fund, which conglomerate controls this fund. It is very simple. As explained above, around 99% of Elara Indian opportunities is comprised of Adani stock, and previously in June 2022, 93.9% of Vespera was invested in Adani Enterprises. The picture is right there. You know, it is like staring in your face. It is just that somebody needs an audacity to kind of put it down on a piece of paper, and you know, just get it out because it is right out there. You can see that, okay. But does somebody have the courage or the balls to really put it out there? Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, give your comments. Thanks for watching.